Brownells here. Today I'm going to be covering reloading 300 Winchester Magnum. The components that I'll be using are a Area 419 press with an inline fabrication stand, a set of Hornady dies, a 419 powder funnel, some Nosler pre-prepped beautiful brass, Winchester large Magnum rifle primers, Sierra GameKing 200 grain bullets, and an RCBS powder trickler along with some Imperial case lube. So the first step, we're going to go ahead and set up depriming and sizing here in the 419 press. The way that you want to go about this, you get it started, you move the press forward, you work it down until it's just barely touching. Making sure that your collar stays out of the way. Give it a little kiss, back it off, turn your collar down. You're going to go ahead and make sure to lock your collar down. So that your die doesn't realign itself as you're pressing. Okay. Go ahead and lube your case. Like I said, here I'm using some Imperial sizing dye, or sizing wax. Give her a little rub down on the outside. Make sure nothing sticks in there. You don't want to overcoat these or can start to gum up. And give it a little rub on the inside where that sizer bead is going to go. Okay. Check her up. Bob's your uncle. Also, while you're doing this, make sure that you check the stem to make sure that it hasn't come loose and that it's tightened down correctly. You can use laterally opposed wrenches to make sure that you get a good torque on there. So for our example here, we're going to run through one complete loaded piece of ammunition, but it's better to do it all in batches where you're resizing and depriming all in one batch and then moving over to priming and then moving over to seating of your round, seating of your bullet. So for our next step, we're going to move on to priming. Here I've got a Frankford Arsenal hand priming tool. Simply insert the case into the primer, into the case holder. Unlock the primer holder, which is a small button, or a small slide button on the back here. Make sure that you load your primer in there first. Slide in your case. Give it a little punch. And there we are. You want to make sure that your primer has been seated correctly and flush with the face of the round. You can tell by kind of running your finger across it there's no lip. As long as you don't see any lip, another way you can check is putting it on a flat surface and making sure that there's no wobble. See? It goes right back to center. Next we're going to go ahead and throw the powder. We've got one of our RCBS powder tricklers here. I've preset the load, or the powder load, to my printed load data. So once that's set and zeroed, simply hit go. I'm going to be using one of our Area 419 powder funnels. Simply set that in there with the correct head for 30 cal. Once the trickling stops, it's always so neat to watch. It gets it right like every time. All right, when it beeps, it's ready. I'm going to pick up my funnel. In you go. Wait for it to re-zero. Now this has got an auto feed feature where normally it would just go ahead and feed the next charge so I could get working on to the next round. We've turned that off for this demonstration. So for our final step, we'll be setting up the bullet seeder die into the Area 419 press. First we want to move the turret over by loosening this, moving it over to the next step, and then retightening it down. Go ahead and put our case in. Grab the die, back the lock collar off. For this step, you just want to get started. Run the case up in, and then tighten it down until it just touches the case mouth, And then move our lock collar back down into place. Give that a tighten. There we go. This back out. Go ahead and grab one of our Sierra 200 grain GameKing bullets. Set it in the case. For this step, you want to make sure that your bullet cedar stem is backed out, as well as its collar. And push it in until it just kisses. So you start working down your bullet cedar stem until it just touches. Back your case out, give it a couple more turns. And you're going to want to work it down like that gradually, pulling out occasionally to measure for your overall length. Now I've got my overall length for my chamber pre-measured. So I'm going to take a pair of calipers, move them down, and touch them off. Looks like I'm just a hair off. Give it a couple more turns. Reseat. Perfect. And then lock down the collar on this. And there you are. All right, now that everything's set up, let's see what it looks like in real time. All right, let's go ahead and grab our powder, grab our funnel. Put it on. Go ahead and start loading up our next batch. Our funnel back. We'll go ahead and move the turret to the cedar. Tighten that back down. Our shell. Grab one of our excellent Sierra bullets. There you go. So, like I said, this is for example. Doing it all step by step. Really doing it in batches is the smartest way to get this done, where you first you deprime and size all of the brass, and then you prime all of the brass, and then you throw powder for all of the brass, and then you seat your bullet for all of your brass that you're going to be reloading for that day. And it really is just that easy. Today we reloaded some 300 Win Mag. If you have any questions about your reloading projects or any technical questions at all, please feel free to call us at the tech line. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining.